Basically, we have a Class B pre-trip here. Introduce myself as Jay Coleman. I'm an instructor for Shipper's Choice of Virginia, and I've been an instructor for the past 6 years. Basically, what I'm working with here is a Class B dump truck. This one is one of the smaller ones, but still, big or small, it's going to be about the same. Right here, you got your well, I guess you should check underneath your vehicle first for any leaks or puddles. You're looking for no oil, coolant, or power steering fluid. I don't see any leaks or puddles. Check the posture of your vehicle, make sure it's not leaning. If it's leaning, it'd be due to a shifting cargo, flat tire, or suspension problem. I'm gonna go ahead and check my bumper. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present. My license plate, it's not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present. It's current and up to date. I'm gonna check my grill. No obstructions. Not cracked, bent, or broken. Probably mount security of the vehicle. I'm gonna go ahead and check my headlights. Both sides. They're clear in color, not cracked, chipped, or broken. Clean, no condensation. All screws are present. Of course, all screws are present if you see screws. I'm going to check my turn signals on both sides, the same way. They're amber in color, not cracked, chipped, or broken. Clean, no condensation. And there's no missing screws or missing hardware. From there, if you have the mirrors, spot mirror bracket, you check those. We don't have them on this truck. But if you did, it's cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present, secured to the vehicle, and my mirrors are not cracked, chipped, or broken, and they're clean. Going up top here, we got our wiper arms, not cracked, bent, or broken, probably mounted secured to the vehicle. And we'll check the blades during the in-cab inspection. Also, our windshield seal, it's not cracked, dry rotted, or broken. And we'll check for leaks during the in-cab inspection, or evidence of leaks during the in-cab inspection. And my windshield is not cracked, chipped, or broken, and it's clean. In the center, I have my 3 ID lights. On the outside, we have our 2 clearance lights, and they're not cracked, chipped, or broken, clean, no condensation, all amber in color, with no missing screws or missing hardware. And of course, your inspection sticker is current and up to date. No illegal stickers on my windshield. And from this point, you're about done with the front. So I'm going to go ahead and cut film here and open the hood, and we're going to go from here to the driver's side front tire and work our way into the engine bay or engine compartment. Okay, we're back now. Hood's open, and we're going to go down the driver's side of this dump truck here. And we'll start with our hub oil seal, which is right here. My hub oil seal is not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present. I see no leaks, and I'll be sure to make sure this is filled to the proper level on a daily basis. I'm going to go ahead and check all my lug nuts. They're all present. No rust or shiny metal to indicate looseness. And of course, my rim. And inside this little peephole here, you'll see the brake drum through the peephole. I'm checking my rim and my brake drum. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal holes or unauthorized welds. And I'm going to check my metal valve stem and metal cap. Right here. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. I hear no leaks, and I'll check my tire pressure daily with a tire gauge or a rubber mallet. I'm going to check the outer, upper, inner wall of my tires, front tires. These can be no less than 4/32 of an inch in the major grooves, and basically cannot be mismatched, recapped, regrooved, or retreaded. Because they're steer tires, that's the reason for that. Alright, now let's see if we can get a good view here. Okay, from here we want to go down to our brake shoes and lining. Now, we can't do that without looking at our brake shield, which will be right here, if you can see that. See if I can get back a little bit, give you some light. Okay, my brake shield, it's not cracked, bent, or broken. There is a little peephole right here. Through that peephole, that's where you can view your brake shoes and lining. No less than 1/4 inch of thickness and no oil nor grease present. From there, air brake chamber is not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present. I hear no leaks, and my air brake chamber hose is not cracked, dry rotted, or broken. The fitting's tight. I don't see any leaks or hear any leaks from there as well. I'm going to check my slack adjuster. It sits at a 90-degree angle when the brakes are applied, no more than 1 inch when I pull out or when I pull out on it. And the cotter pins and cotter keys are all in place. And if you happen to notice these little tags as we go through, just to help the students learn the parts a little faster, we have labeled it. Okay. Now, from there, there's a couple ways you can go. You can go suspension, you can go steering linkage. Really, the choice is up to you. I believe what I'm going to do is go ahead and go into my steering linkage first. So I'm going to check my steering linkage, which is the entire system for your steering. My steering wheel shaft, not cracked, bent, or broken. Properly mounted, secured to the vehicle. My universal joint, which is right here, it's not cracked, bent, or broken, properly lubricated. Excuse me for a second, I'm going to get the camera right. Okay. My steering gearbox, right here, not cracked, bent, or broken, all bolts are present. My pitman arm right here, it's not cracked, bent, or broken, properly mounted, secured to the vehicle. I want to check my drag link. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, properly mounted, secured to the vehicle. From there, I'll check my steering arm, or excuse me, my steering knuckle. Right down here is my steering arm, and then the tie rod that goes across. Okay, none of them are cracked, bent, or broken. All properly mounted, secured to the vehicle with no obstructions. Also, you'll have your 3 castle nut and cotter pins, one here on the end of the pitman arm, one right here on the steering knuckle, and there's one down there holding the tie rod and the steering arm together. And you'll notice those pretty plainly. If you see, kind of looks like a king's crown in a way. Alright, now from there we'll go ahead and get into our suspension. So, right there will be our front leaf spring mount. Not cracked, bent, or broken, all bolts are present. There's my rear leaf spring mount back here in the back. Not cracked, bent, or broken, all bolts are present. And then of course my shackle, leaf spring shackle, which sits at a 45-degree angle. You got my leaf spring clamp, not cracked, bent, or broken, all bolts are present. And then we have our leaf springs all in a line, none is missing. If more than 1/4 are missing, could put the vehicle out of service. We got our U-bolt and anchor plate, not cracked, bent, or broken, properly mounted, secured to the vehicle, all bolts are present. Okay, now from there we'll go ahead and go up to the frame. The frame's not cracked, bent, or broken, no illegal holes or unauthorized welds. Now, keep in mind for the Class B, the bus or the bus coach, or the people on the coach bus, you can look at this steering linkage and get a pretty good visual on what you're expected to say when it comes to that and the suspension. For the Maryland and DC guys who has to call that out, you can always take a look at this and get an idea and get it in your head, and then of course apply that to the coach bus, being you can't see those parts. Okay. Now once we go from the frame, or come over from the frame, we got our shock absorber. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, all bolts are present, I don't see any leaks. And then we'll go up from there inside the engine bay. Looking at my air compressor right here, it's not cracked, bent, or broken, all bolts are present, I don't see any leaks or hear any leaks. Air compressor governor, not cracked, bent, or broken, properly mounted, secured to the vehicle, I don't hear any leaks, and this cuts in at 100 and cuts out at 125 psi. And then the hose is coming from that's not cracked, dry rotted, or broken, the fittings are tight, and again I don't hear any leaks. This is also belt driven. My belt's not cracked, dry rotted, or broken, and when I push in the center, no more than 1/4 inch of play for VA students, and no more than 3/4 for Maryland and DC students. Okay, from there we got our power steering reservoir. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, all bolts are present. If I remove the dipstick, I would check the level. If it's low, I'll refill right here in the fill tube, and you do this on a daily basis. And of course the hose is coming from here is not cracked, dry rotted, or broken, all fittings are tight, and I don't see any leaks from there as well. Now that's pretty much it on this side, except for we do have an old dipstick here, and basically instead of pulling it out, I'm just going to explain it. I'd wipe it, pull it out, wipe it off, reinsert, pull it back out, and check the level. If it's low, I'd also refill here. This doubles as a fill tube and as a dipstick, and the tubing's not cracked, bent, or broken. I don't see any evidence of leaks, and there's no missing hardware or no missing bolts. on the clamp that holds it.
Side of the dump truck.
Okay, now from here, that's about all we can do on this side.
In Virginia, we're going to go ahead and move to the passenger side.
Well, we train out here in Virginia, but in Maryland, D.C., we'll also train a few students out there, and I believe it's about the same. They'll give you directions in the beginning, like, I want you to do a thorough examination of the vehicle. I want you to touch, point, or grab each part. Anything you say on one side, you will not have to repeat on the other. So basically, you're just going to talk about the differences. I've always been a firm believer in asking the examiner, would you like me to skip this section since I already said it? However, you get some examiners sometimes tell you just do it the way you were trained, or you want me to refer back to the instructions. In that case, you're going to skip anything that you've already said, and we said everything all the way up into the frame. So we'll get to move right on into the engine bay from this side. And I'll start with my air filter. It's not cracked or broken. All bolts are present, secured to the vehicle. My coolant reservoir, not cracked or broken. All bolts are present, secured to the vehicle. We'll check the level through the sight glass or level lines here on the side. If it was not equipped, I'd have to wait for my engine to cool down. I would remove the cap and check the level visually. Whatever you do, do not remove that cap on your test. That's a big no-no. And of course, my hose is not cracked, dry rotted, or broken. My fittings are tight, and I don't see any leaks from there as well. Okay, down from that, we got an air compressor. My air compressor is not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present. My wires are not burnt, cut, or frayed. Just the wiring here on the back. And of course, this is belt driven as well, so my belt's not cracked, dry rotted, or broken. No more than a 1/4 inch of play when I push in the center for the VA students. And Maryland and over in the district, we'll have to say it's not 3/4 of an inch play when I push in the center. Okay. Now from there, we're going to go ahead and move on in to the water pump. And really, you can't see the water pump if you've ever done any mechanical work on a car. A lot of times the water pump be located behind the timing belt inside the block. So we'll just point inside and say I'm checking my water pump. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. I don't see any evidence of leaks. And on this one, it's belt driven. When I push in on my belts, no more than a 1/4 inch of play for VA, 3/4 for Maryland or DC. Now, just to cover my bases, I'd always say I'm checking all my belts at this time just to cover everything. No more than not cracked, dry rotted, or broken. No more than a 1/4 inch for VA when I push in the center of play, and no more than 3/4 of an inch play for Maryland and DC. Okay. Right up here, we have our upper radiator hose. It's not cracked, dry rotted, or broken. It's no evidence of leaks, and all my fittings are tight. And of course, I don't see any leaks around the fittings as well. Your lower radiator hose, you're going to say the same thing, but you have to get up underneath the vehicle to see that. It's down there. It's down there. So it's not cracked, bent, or broken for the metal portion, not cracked, dry rotted, or broken for the rubber portion. And of course, I don't see any leaks. Okay. Now, of course, you got your air intake hoses, or your air intake. Let's see if I can spot it on this one. That's fine. We'll just point to this area right here. It's not cracked, bent, or broken for the metal portion, not cracked, dry rotted, or broken for the rubber, and all my fittings are tight. And of course, we don't have to talk about leaks here. We don't hear any leaks because it's not compressed air. So you're not going to talk about that. Okay, from that point, that's about all you're going to do inside the engine bay. So we're going to walk down the passenger side a little ways. And I'm going to start with my fuel tank. Basically, for your fuel tank, look below it for any leaks or puddles. I don't see any leaks. My fuel tank straps, the metal portion is not cracked, bent, or broken. The rubber is not cracked, dry rotted, or broken. I don't see any rust or shiny metal to indicate looseness. My steps, free of obstructions. It's clean and clear, and no oil nor grease present. On my fuel tank cap, basically, if I were to remove it, I check to see that the rubber grommet or rubber O-ring is not cracked or dry rotted, and that it is present. You should be able to look up under the fuel tank here. I can see we got some lines and wires here. So my fuel tank wires are not burnt, cut, or frayed, and my fuel tank lines are not cracked, dry rotted, or broken, and all the fittings are tight. I don't see any leaks. Okay. Same thing here with these steps. Not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present. I don't see any obstructions. They're free of oil and grease or anything that you could slip on, and of course they're secured to the vehicle. All bolts and hardware are present. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and go to our driver's side door. Our driver's side door, start with your mirror bracket. My spot and view mirror brackets not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present. And my view mirror and my spot mirror is not cracked, chipped, or broken, and it's clean. I got my side marker light here on the side, amber in color, not cracked, chipped, or broken, clean, no condensation. All screws are present. And of course on my door, my outside door handle is not sticking or binding. My door latch, not sticking or binding, working properly. Inside door handle, not sticking or binding, working properly. Got my wing window here. It's not cracked, chipped, or broken, and it's clean, and it opens and closes properly. My windshield crank, it's not sticking or binding. The side window rolls up and down properly, and the window is not cracked, chipped, or broken, and it's clean. And of course I'm going to check my door hinges. They're not sticking or binding, and the door opens and closes properly, and it shuts flush. I'm also going to check my weather stripping around the edges here. My weather stripping is not cracked or dry rotted. No evidence of leaks. The only other thing you could probably get right here would be your grab bar right up at the top. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, and all bolts are present. Okay. Now from there, there's only a couple ways to go. Let's see. Looking for a certain part. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, from here, we're going to check our exhaust. And the exhaust is not cracked, bent, or broken. And I don't see any black soot to indicate any cracks or holes. And the exhaust straps are not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present. And also, while I'm here, I'll get my drive shafts and universal joints. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. No obstructions, and they're properly mounted and secured to the vehicle. Okay, now that's all I can do here. That's all I'm going to do here. For the rest of the vehicle, we're going to move on over to the driver's side. Now, one thing I'll do is I'll shut my hood as I come around and latch it down. And of course the headlights are staring at you in the face. This would be a good opportunity, if you didn't start with this, which I recommend you start with this, is to check the function of your lights. Make sure that they actually turn on and they work. So at this point you can ask the examiner, Mr. or Mrs. Examiner, would you mind assisting me with checking my lights? Hopefully they'll say yes. You'll climb inside and turn your lights on, and they'll check things like your high beams, left turn, right turn signal, your four-way flashers or your emergency lights, and of course leave your lights on because they're going to check your clearance and your IDs. It's not something that you're going to call out or they're going to mention to you, but it just kind of goes without saying, leave your lights on. They'll check your side markers and stuff as they walk around to the back side. Now, if they happen to just stand there after helping you with the front lights, then you have to say, ma'am, sir, would you please walk around to the rear of the vehicle? We have to check those as well. They're hoping you'll kind of let that go. Now that we're here on the driver's side, everything's exactly the same, so we're only going to call out the differences. The only differences here on the dump truck is we have our battery box right here, and we have our air tank right here. So with the battery box, my cover is not cracked, bent, or broken. If I were to remove it, I check to see that all the batteries are present. They're filled to the proper level. no excessive amount of corrosion on the wires. And of course, I'll check the charge of the batteries during the in-cab inspection on my gauge, which should read between 12 and 14 volts. So basically, we're doing a visual check here, and we're going to be checking the gauge. And then we got an air tank. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present and secured to the vehicle, and I'll drain these daily to remove any moisture or oil. And basically, that's going to keep it from freezing in the wintertime. Now, since we already did the door and everything, we're going to walk on down because we've already done it on the other side. So we'll say everything else on this side is exactly the same, and we'll be able to move on down to the dump bed here. There's no holes, no cracks, no dents, and of course all reflectors my reflectors are present. This one here is amber in color, not cracked, chipped, or broken, and it's clean. All screws are present. We've already got all the drive shafts and everything. Got a quarter fender right here. We're not required to call that out. Move here to the drive tires. We got our axle seal, which is not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present. I don't see any evidence of leaks. I want to check both rims and my brake drum, which you can view through the peephole here. And they're not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal holes or unauthorized welds. And then we have our spacer right here, which is not cracked, bent, or broken, properly mounted, secured to the vehicle. And then we have all of our lug nuts. All are present. There's no rust or shiny metal to indicate looseness. We have our rear frame back here, not cracked, bent, or broken, no illegal holes or unauthorized welds. And of course, I'm getting ahead of myself. We got to check our metal valve stem and metal cap first, and my tires. Happens to the best of us. So I'm checking both my metal valve stems and metal caps. Not cracked, bent, or broken. I hear no leaks. And I'll check my tire pressure daily with a tire gauge or a rubber mallet. I'm going to check the outer, upper, inner wall of both my tires. There's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. No less than 2/32 of an inch in the major grooves of tread. And if I put my fist in the center of the tires, it's a sufficient amount of space. They're not touching or rubbing. Now, just like up front, if I get on the back side of the tire, let's see, you might be able to see the other tire. There is no brake shield here, so we're viewing our brake shoes and lining directly. So all you have to say is I'm checking my brake shoes and lining, no less than 1/4 inch of thickness, no oil nor grease present. And then of course we got our air brake chamber and our slack adjuster, and you just call that out exactly the same way as we did up front. Air brake chamber is not cracked, bent, or broken. I don't hear any leaks. All bolts are present, and my hoses are not cracked, dry rotted, or broken. Fittings are tight, and I don't hear any leaks. From there, we can get our front leaf spring mount. Not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present. We have our leaf springs all on line, none are missing. If more than 1/4 are missing, could put the vehicle out of service. We have our leaf spring clamp right about here, not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present. And then here on the back, we got our rear leaf spring mount, not cracked, bent, or broken. Properly mounted, secured to the vehicle. All bolts are present. I'm not going to be able to give you a view of it, but in the middle is going to be our U-bolt and anchor plate, set exactly the same way as you did up front. And then below the leaf springs, we have a torsion bar, not cracked, bent, or broken. Properly mounted, secured to the vehicle. All bolts are present. Okay, and don't forget that slack adjusters on the back side of the air brake chamber. I can't get you a view of that quite yet, but remember, you're standing exactly the same way as you did up front. Side marker light here is red in color, not cracked, chipped, or broken, clean, no condensation. Move around to the rear of the vehicle. We're going to check our back gate. Make sure it's secured, that the locking pins are in place. Locking pins are in place. My gates, no holes, no cracks, no dents. Got my license plate current and up to date, not cracked, bent, or broken. Bolts are present. My tag light, clear in color, not cracked, chipped, or broken. Clean, no condensation. We have our brake lights and turn signals here with our reverse lights, not cracked, bent, or broke, or cracked, chipped, or broken. Clean, no condensation. The reverse lights are clear in color. Brake lights are red in color. And of course our reflectors here, cracked, chipped, or broken, and they're clean. Splash guards right below, not cracked, dry rotted, or broken. We have, let's see, 3 ID lights here in the center, not cracked, chipped, or broken, clean, no condensation, and they're red in color. Okay, now from there, after we've completed all this, we're going to look down the side, passenger side of the vehicle, and say this side of the vehicle is exactly the same as the rest. Would you like me to point out it, or like me say it over again? And hopefully if you've done it correctly, your examiner will tell you to go ahead and move on, and you move on into the in-cab inspection. Okay, that concludes the walk around or the outside of the Class B dump truck, and hopefully you learned something. Thank you.